Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. First, I just want to ask everyone, can you all hear me and can you all see me? All right, perfect. So first thing I want to let everyone know is if you're unable to attend the entire broadcast, or if you have a friend that wants to watch this later, it will be recorded and posted on YouTube, and we'll be posting that as soon as that's done. So no one is going to miss this. So first thing I want to do is thank fellow members of the National Executive Council for being here today with me. Ditya Vinjamuri, your post-secondary collegiate vice president. Santina Chen, your Region 1 vice president. And Julius Wade, your Region 3 vice president. Awesome. And we couldn't be more excited to be here with all of you today. So ILC is going to be the very first event of its kind. It is the International HOSA Leadership Conference, and it is one of the most pivotal events in HOSA history. We couldn't be more excited to be a part of it, and you should feel amazing knowing that you get to be there on this historic occasion. So something very exciting about our international status is that now we have officially chapters in American Samoa, Germany, Italy, and Mexico. And that's in addition to the 54 territories that we already have, including Puerto Rico. We have the highest attendance in HOSA history with over 9,000 members attending this event in Nashville, Tennessee. And it's also our 40th anniversary. And with that, we're going to have many cool events happening throughout this conference. And to get us started, we're going to have Santina Chen kick us off. Santina?
Hey everyone! So we're super excited for ILC coming up, and we're so excited about the individuals that will be joining us as well. We're going to have our first national president from 1976, Lynn McGee Ingle. We're going to have our first board chair also be in attendance. And we're also thrilled to have our two new members to the HOSA 100 National Advisory, Cardinal Health and Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. We're so overjoyed to have both of these incredible and successful organizations join us this year at the International Leadership Conference. We're also really thrilled to have our newest and youngest members of HOSA, our middle school chapters, join us, and we're super excited to see the 100 competitors who will be joining us at the International Leadership Conference. And if there are any middle schoolers who will be attending this year's conference, we just want to welcome you and say we're so excited to see you, and don't be nervous. Nerves are totally okay, but everyone will be friendly, and we're so excited to have you guys there as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Aditya, who's going to go over a few more details of the conference.
So as you may know, our venue is this year Gaylord Opryland in Nashville, Tennessee. And this happens to be my favorite hotel I've ever been to. From the moment you walk in, it's a whole new world inside its own enclosure. And it's one of the most exciting things that I'm looking forward to the conference. One of the best parts of this area is whatever weather it may be outside, you won't experience it inside because it's always air-conditioned and it's always under its own glass dome. So it's kind of like Hogwarts. And this year, we not only have one keynote speaker, but we have two. So that's really exciting. Both of them will be speaking at the opening session. And as you could tell from the postings by National HOSA on different social medias, there's been lots of rave reviews about it. So I'm pretty excited for that as well. Julius is going to take it away with a few more details.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys very briefly about the recognition session on Friday night. The recognition session is going to prove to be one of the most exciting sessions in the International Leadership Conference this year. So at the recognition session, we're going to be recognizing states for outstanding membership. So you should look, all of you states who have done well over the year with increasing your membership, you should look forward to really exciting stuff with the recognition of your outstanding membership. We're also going to recognize the 200,000 HOSA member. As you all may know, this year HOSA achieved a milestone with over 200,000 members. So at the recognition session, Friday night of the conference, we're going to be recognizing the 200,000 secondary and post-secondary collegiate member. We're also going to be honoring HOSA heroes and Daniel Martinez is returning to help HOSA induct the very first HOSA heroes into the HOSA Hall of Fame. So the HOSA Hall of Fame is a new initiative from National HOSA, and it's going to be used to recognize and showcase the outstanding people who've contributed to HOSA's success and who themselves have been really outstanding in their works and efforts to make sure that everyone lives in a better world. So we're really excited to unveil that, and that's something that we definitely look forward to at the recognition session. Beyond the recognition session, our International Leadership Conference is quite famous for our wonderful expos and symposiums. So very briefly, we're going to go over a few of the exciting expos and different things that we have planned. So the expos and symposiums will take place on Thursday and Friday of the conference. The very first expo on Thursday morning will be Healthy Start to the Day, hosted by our very own Captain Rob Tisato of the Medical Reserve Corps. So that's just one thing of all the exciting expos that we have. You can look forward to expos on texting and driving, Zumba, how to become a captivating speaker and woo your audience, humorous looks at leadership, applied disaster epidemiology, that's really exciting, complete anatomy, a new frontier to digital education, things like innovative techniques for teaching medical ethics, what near-death experiences social media and living courageously all have in common, and functional neurology, healthcare choices. So we have a really exciting and all-encompassing slate of symposiums and expos, and we really look forward to sharing that stuff with you guys. In addition to the exciting expos that we have, there also will be booths like the Army booth, the STEM Premier booth, Medical Reserve Corps booth, ASPR booth, National Disaster Medical System tent, several colleges and universities with health science programs, and other really cool HOSA partners will be there. So all this stuff will be taking place throughout the time of the conference. So when you're at the Gaylord Opryland and you're just looking around for stuff to do, just know that there's lots of exciting stuff to do and learn about at the conference. In addition to the wonderful tents and things that we'll have, in addition to the expos and symposiums, we also have 142 interactive workshops and educational workshops that will be held that everyone should take advantage of on Thursday and Friday. So a few of the workshops that we'll have include stuff on making it real, using moulage techniques for simulated disaster victims. We have stuff on illustrating the federal HHS emergency response complexities by using a unique communication tool. So there's some really neat stuff that we'll have to showcase for you guys, and we're really excited for you guys to explore everything that we have to offer. If you're interested in learning about or learning more about the individual expos, or if there's a specific workshop that you think will pique your interest, feel free to go to hosa.org, go to the Conferences tab, click on International Leadership Conference, and click on the Conference Info tab. And on there you'll see links to the exciting workshops, symposiums, and expos that we have to offer for you guys. So now we're going to hand it over to Amit, who will tell us more about the more exciting things that we have to look forward to at the conference.
So I know we've been using the word exciting a lot, and that honestly is the best way to encompass the experience we're going to have in Nashville this summer. And so we really want it to be a holistic experience for everyone. So Saturday, June 25th, is going to be HOSA Day. And that's the day that you get to go out and explore all that Nashville has to offer. Some things that come to mind are the Parthenon at Bicentennial Park, downtown Nashville, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and of course the Grand Ole Opry. There's also a place for go-karts, if that's what you'd like to do. This is an opportunity for HOSA members to explore Nashville and take in all the culture that it has to offer, in addition to the conference events. So make sure that you wear your state t-shirt and your chapter HOSA t-shirts to represent your spirit in Nashville. Bring spirit items to opening sessions so you can show off your chapter and show off your spirit. It's going to be very exciting. Generally, those spirit items are given at your state meetings, so your state officers will have those for you. Some travel tips would be make sure you pack for hot weather if you plan on going outside. It's while the hotel inside is fairly air conditioned, it can get upwards of 90 degrees outside during the summer. Wear comfortable traveling clothes and make sure you bring tennis shoes because you're going to be doing a lot of walking. This hotel is huge, and if you haven't Google imaged it, I highly recommend you do so. It is one of the most breathtaking views I've ever seen, inside of a hotel at least. There's a lot of intertwining hallways in this hotel, and the elevators and the layout of it can be a bit confusing at times. So feel free to ask at least any of the employees of how to get somewhere. Carry a map with you. It took me 2 good days to memorize where my room was when I went last year, or when I went 2 years ago. Please take this seriously. It is very challenging, and you don't want to be late to your competitive event. Also, as far as competitive events go, you must wear your HOSA uniform to your competitive event and to all business sessions. So make sure that your uniform is up to code, your patch is sewed on, and you're ready to go. Now we'll have Santina take it from here.
Thank you, Amit. Before I get started, I just wanted to answer a few questions that came through. The first question was, who are the keynote speakers? And as was revealed on social media, our first keynote speaker is our Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, and our second is the creator of KID President, Brad Montague. So we're so thrilled to have these two at our International Leadership Conference, and we're looking forward to hearing them speak as well. I would also recommend to each one of you guys to follow these two on social media if you can. They put great things on there, always inspirational, and it'll get you excited for the International Leadership Conference as well. Another question that came through was, who is the 200,000th member? That is actually a surprise, and so you'll have to wait and see at the International Leadership Conference where it will be revealed, and we're so excited to recognize the person who's brought us this great milestone. Another question that I wanted to attend to was something that Amit talked about just a few seconds ago about navigating the hotel, and he talked about don't be afraid to ask the hotel employees for any help or any questions. They're there to help you and can help and would be more than happy to navigate you to the correct room. Also, we'll be having an app for the conference, just as we've had the past few years, and there's a map on there that'll have all the rooms and everything listed on there, and hopefully that'll get you to the right place. But please don't be afraid to ask any one of the hotel employees for help to get to your right room. I'm going to talk a little bit about the national officer applicants and the process. I'm sure the nerves are high, looking forward to International Leadership Conference. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to everyone who's applied, and that's a huge accomplishment in itself, and I applaud you for taking that leap of faith and doing so, and I encourage you guys to make the best of this experience. You only get out of this experience what you put in, and so just give it your all and enjoy the experience. Don't get so caught up in the process that you don't enjoy the people you're running with and meeting members and things of that nature. I want to go over the schedule for national officer applicants. I know it seems like a lot, and it's going to be a busy few days, but it's totally worth it, and I hope you're excited and looking forward to it. On Tuesday, we'll be having, on Tuesday of the conference, we'll be having the National Officer Applicant Exam, and that'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. Interviews will be posted that night at around 11 p.m. Wednesday morning, we start 7 a.m. the officer interviews. The slate will be announced at 3:30 p.m. on that Wednesday. The opening session, just as a side note, will be Wednesday night as well from 7:30 to 9 p.m. On Thursday, we'll have the Meet the Candidate breakfast at 7 a.m. and we'll have the business session from 3 to 6 p.m. The business session is when you'll give your speeches and when we'll be formally voting. Friday is our recognition session, and Saturday is our award sessions, and we close that night off with a dance as well. For all our members out there who are watching, if you definitely want to meet your national officer applicants, and you can do that by going to nlc.hosa.org, and there's actually a link there for with all the national officer applicant resumes, and they actually created videos as well. So I highly, highly recommend you guys check that out. They worked really hard on it, and they all look great. Just a few other reminders and just advice for those who are running for a national office. It's a great honor to serve this organization. I'm sure you all know that how much this organization has impacted your life, and therefore that's why you're running. But the best advice that I can give you is to talk to and genuinely get to know as many HOSA members as you can. Be yourself. There's only one version of you in this world. No one else got the job, and so just be yourself. HOSA members don't want to see fake. They want to see you who you are genuinely, and they want to see how you're going to best represent this organization. Just so show them and keep that in mind whenever you're just talking to other HOSA members as well. Another reminder that I wanted to put out there is on the business session, we'll also be voting for a new national service project. And our three that are up for grabs are multiple sclerosis, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, so the one that we've been doing for the past 2 years, and also Mental Health America. And now I'd like to hand it over to Aditya, who's going to talk about competitor info.
So when you get there, the best thing to know is your guidelines, because that's your key into the whole competitive event. It tells you what you need to know and that you should bring it. It is acceptable to bring it on your phone, so there is that. Always remember to bring your number 2 pencils for testing. It would be very unfortunate if you go all the way to Nashville and you forget a simple pencil to take your exam. Get excited about competing at a new level, because not only are you competing with people from your own state, but this is international. So that carries a lot of weight, and it's really cool. And most of all, enjoy it. Meet those people competing in the same event, because maybe one day you'll be working together down the line. And it's also a great way just to network and meet new friends. Work hard, have fun, and get plenty of rest. I know it's going to be super exciting, but the more rest you get, the more enjoyment you can get out of it. And we did have a question. Will competitive events be located in the Gaylord? And the answer is the majority of the events that are happening are in the Gaylord Hotel. The few events that are off-site will be listed in the ILC program, and you will get that at registration. So now I'm going to hand it off to Julius to talk about some more conference highlights.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it was mentioned yet, but we do have, there is the conference app that you can find in the Android and Apple or Google Play and Apple app stores. The conference is going to be quite awesome. It's going to be quite action-packed, and it will be hard to keep track of everything without making sure that you have everything at your disposal. So an additional way to help you keep track of everything and stay on top of all the awesome things happening at the conference is to download the conference app. On the app, you'll see, I believe you'll see the program, you'll see bios of the National Executive Council, you'll see different information pertaining to competitive events, so we do recommend that you guys download the app if you can. It is quite useful, and you will enjoy the additional dynamic it gives to the whole conference. We're going to talk about HOSA universities. So HOSA universities are like mock symposiums, so to speak, or workshops, I guess, for the people who participate in them. So the very first HOSA university that we have will take place on Tuesday, June 21st, for state officers. That's HOSA University 301. So at that HOSA university, state officers will get the opportunity to mingle and network with one another. There will be leadership building exercises. It's very fun, and you make lots of friends, and you may even get to meet a few of the national officer applicants at that HOSA university. So definitely stay tuned for that and register if you haven't already. The next HOSA university that we have will take place on the Thursday, June 23rd of the conference. That HOSA university is HOSA University 101 for members. So that at that HOSA university, there are also leadership building exercises. And if you are a member who wants to do more and be more within the organization and give back more of yourself and serve others within the organization, I definitely recommend that you attend HOSA University 101 as for members. That one you get to network with members across the nation and perhaps from the different countries that we'll have at the conference. So that's going to be definitely exciting. So if you're a member and you want to learn more about HOSA and get more involved with HOSA, this is the perfect stepping stone for that. The next HOSA University that we have will also take place that Thursday, and that's HOSA University 201 for local chapter officers. So if you're a local chapter officer and you want to ascend, I guess, within the organization or learn more about what it means to be a local chapter officer, that's the perfect venue for you to exercise your leadership skills and meet other local chapter officers, learn the latest tips and tricks to being a successful local chapter officer. So definitely look out for HOSA University 201 if you are a local chapter officer. Let's see, let's take a look at the other HOSA universities that we have at the conference. There's a HOSA University 501 for advanced advisors. So advisors, if you're on this webinar or viewing the webinar, or members or anyone who's watching the webinar, if you have an advisor who's pretty well versed with HOSA, but we can all seek to learn a little more. For advanced advisors, there's a HOSA University for you to learn even more than what you already know about HOSA, and to learn the, I guess, different tools that you'll need to be successful advisors within your chapters and things like that. So anyone, you guys can view the schedule to see when the HOSA universities are scheduled for, and you can view anything else that you want to in the program on nlc.hosa.org. The link is provided on that site, and you can view everything I'm viewing right now to learn more about what's happening at the conference. The next thing we're going to talk about is the exciting hypnosis, the HOSA hypnotist, on Friday after the recognition session. So when I talk about the recognition session, that's the session where we will also elect the 2016-2017 National Executive Council. So if you're receiving an award or being recognized that night, or if you're elected as a member of next year's National Executive Council, definitely check out the HOSA Hypnotist, which will be on Friday after the recognition session. The HOSA Hypnotist was one of my favorite highlights from last year. I must admit that I was hypnotized, and it indeed is very real. So I definitely recommend that you guys go and check out the HOSA Hypnotist. My fellow National Executive Council members can attest to the fact that I was hypnotized for quite some time. At some point I did break into tears, so that's an interesting tidbit, and hopefully you'll break into tears this year at the HOSA Hypnotist session. The next exciting thing that we'll have at the conference is the HOSA Dance. So whether you win or not, or whatever you do, know that you've grown and gained a lot at the conference, and the perfect way for you to celebrate all of your outstanding achievements just by even making it to the International Leadership Conference will be at the HOSA Dance on Saturday after the closing awards session. So at the HOSA Dance, you'll get with all your HOSA friends from around the world, honestly, and dance with them, get down and boogie. Make sure when you show up to the HOSA Dance, you must show up in proper casual attire. So ladies and gents, make sure that we're dressed appropriately for a school picture. I guess school picture attire is the perfect attire for showing up to the HOSA Dance. Dress comfortably. I will give you guys a piece of advice that it can get very hot inside of the venue where the HOSA Dance is happening. So come prepared for that, and come prepared to have lots of fun. Okay. One more thing that's happening at the conference: the Leukemia Lymphoma Society is our current national service project. And our very great State Association of Oklahoma HOSA spearheaded the LLS Lemon Challenge for HOSA members around the nation. So we will be having the LLS Lemon Challenge at internationals this year. So definitely come on out, donate, and participate in the LLS Challenge. When you come to the LLS Challenge, typically in the room where all the exciting exhibits are, you'll have the LLS Challenge booth set up. There'll be a few HOSA officers who will be there directing the LLS Challenge. You go, you donate perhaps, you take maybe a few props, you get the lemon, you say cancer bites, but HOSA bites back, and you challenge whoever you want to challenge for the LLS challenge. You take your bite of your lemon, and you see your funny reaction on videos that you may or may not record. So that's definitely something exciting to look forward to. So beyond the competitive events and beyond the sessions, we have exciting things in the HOSA universities, in the HOSA hypnotist, in the LLS challenge, and in the HOSA dance. So at this time, I believe we're going to open, if the other National Executive Council members don't have anything further to add, I believe we're going to move to a Q&A session with you guys. So feel free to submit any and all questions that you have this time, and we'll get down to answering.
Absolutely. And there is one thing that I want to say. After 5 years of being in this organization, and I'm positive that any of the members of the Executive Council can attest to this, is that ILC truly is a monumental event. 40 years of education, growth, and progress culminate into this one international event. So our advice to you is to treat this event like a celebration. Of course, realizing that it is a competition and you are going there to learn more about health and to better yourselves, but to be there is a very special thing. So enjoy the experience as much as you can, study as much as you can prior to your event, mingle with as many people as you possibly can, and really make the most out of your time in Nashville, because the experience, the sentiments you'll have for those few days never come back. So make the most out of your time there. And with that, we'll get into the question and answer. One thing we wanted to say was there was a question that was just asked about what sort of uniform could be worn if you didn't have a HOSA blazer. You can either wear a black or navy blue suit with a white shirt. Your shoes must be closed-toed. And yeah, so with that, we'll move on to the next question, which is what are some fun things you can do in Nashville? Let's have Aditya take care of that.
Okay, so to begin with, we have a list right here. So you have the Grand Old Golf and Go-Karts, the Opry Mills Shopping Outlet and Movie Theater. It's very close to the actual convention center, and it's a very nice mall, probably one of the best ones I've been to. General Jackson's Showboat Lunch Cruise, always a fun time. Discover Nashville Tour just drives by, and it just drives by Nashville and gives you a good showing of the South. The Nashville Zoo, All About Nashville Pass, starts at the Riverfront Station. We have the Country Music Hall of Fame. The trolley picks up at the Riverfront Station for that. We have the Pantheon State Park and Museum, which is really beautiful. First Center for Visual Arts Museum. And that's just among a few things. If you decide to go and Google this, you'll get a lot more things that you and your chapter could do. So another question that we had was, do you have to wear your HOSA t-shirt at the dance? Are shorts allowed? There isn't any uniform that's mandated, but shorts are okay as long as they're appropriate. A HOSA shirt is not required. So like Julia said, dress up like it was a school picture.
We also just want to add that the mall that Aditya mentioned is right next door to the Gaylord Opryland, or to the Gaylord Hotel, the hotel that the conference will be centered at. So if you are looking to spend some dough, make sure you check out the mall. It's right next door. And also a tip that I like to add for all the members or anyone who's attending the conference, if you are looking to go out and explore Nashville, make sure you bring some cash on hand so that you have some spending money and money that will get you maybe an Uber or a Lyft or whatever you need just to make sure that you're fine throughout your time enjoying not only the hotel, the conference, but the surrounding beautiful city that is Nashville.
Okay, and one more question that we had was, will there be shuttles to off-site hotels? We know that there's going to be a lot of members here, and several hotels have been filled up around the main one, and that is true. There will be off-site shuttles. There will be shuttles taking you to off-site hotels. Okay. And if you have any questions about ILC, we know there's a lot of people watching this. Feel free to send them in. Now would be the time to ask. That way you truly get to have the best possible experience you can in Nashville. While the questions are coming in, what we can do is we can share our, we can have Julius share his favorite part about ILC.
So this year's ILC will be my third international conference. I guess my favorite memory from the first international conference was the countdown that happened at the opening general session. That was my first time being in a place with close to maybe 7,000 or 8,000 people that year. So I was really excited to be with all the people who had the same devotion that I had, and to see everyone count down. Dr. Mikio Kaku was the keynote speaker that year, so I was definitely looking forward to his keynote speech, as I am looking forward to this year's keynote speakers. And it was really exciting to just count down with everybody to the start of the conference itself. So that was definitely the highlight of my time at the conference that year. Last year, my favorite memory from the conference was, I must admit, the HOSA hypnotist session. I came into the HOSA, I can't reiterate this enough, I came into the HOSA hypnotist session as a skeptic. I didn't think, I said to myself, you know, this is not something that'll happen to me. I'm pretty sure. Why was I surprised? Because I was hypnotized. So I definitely highly recommend that you guys check it out. It's lots of fun, and it's a great way to de-stress after the week, Friday night.
Okay, awesome. So one more question that we have is, what did you do on HOSA Day? Let's have Santina answer that, and then Santina, you can answer the next question as well.
So HOSA Day, I remember HOSA Day from 2 years ago in Orlando, Florida, and we went to Disney World, of course, and we had a lot of fun and rode a bunch of roller coasters, and yeah, that was basically what we did for my HOSA Day. And another question that came up was, what are some things to do, or what are some tips for trading pins? And I remember trading pins were really new to me as well. Whenever I actually only got used to them last year at my last conference. And some tips and tricks that I have is actually get to know the people before trading the pins. They're actually really cool people. You'll meet a lot of really cool people at HOSA conferences, and so just get to know them and just really get to know their story, and then trade pins. Don't just, I know sometimes it can be a mad dash for the coolest pin, but really get to know one another, and to be honest, people will be more likely to give you their pin whenever they know you and they've talked to you for a while. And another thing I wanted to answer about the pins was, I believe you can also purchase pins as well, and so if there's a really cool pin out there that you wanted but no one has it, you can also purchase them for just a few dollars as well.
Pin trading is very important, people. Make sure you trade your pins. It's a super easy way to make friends, and there are also collectibles. So make sure that you network and trade pins early on in the game, because surely enough, the hot ones, so to speak, will be traded very early on. The next question we had is actually, are you allowed to go see Nashville on HOSA Day? And yes, that is exactly what HOSA Day is about. There are many things for you to see. Some of us will probably be posting about it on Facebook just so you have a list of it. But you can go go-karting for a more cultural experience. You can see the Grand Ole Opry, or visit the Parthenon at Bicentennial Park. You can take a lot of good photos there. We definitely plan on updating our cover photos on Facebook with pictures from the Parthenon, so we recommend that you do that as well. You might actually get to catch us there, who knows. And the next question is, what time do the shuttles start? The shuttles will begin 1 hour before the first event or item on the agenda. So if the day begins at, let's say, 9 a.m., the shuttles will be ready to go at 8. So make sure you're ready and on HOSA time for wherever it is that you need to be. The next question, Aditya, why don't you take that one?
Sure. Did any of you compete? How did you prepare? What was it like? So I competed for 5 years in HOSA competitions, and last year I did a public service announcement with a few of my friends. And we placed at states and we went to internationals. We won third in the nation at that point. So it was pretty exciting getting to prepare the video, shooting it, and presenting it to the competitors. But the most important thing was just having fun. I remember having like a great time making the video and getting ready for the competition itself. So really enjoy the ride rather than the destination.
Awesome. Okay. And I actually kind of wanted to add something for the competitive event that we competed in. I always compete in prepared speaking or extemporaneous. So if you see me at ILC, ask me about the story of the clams. And I'll tell you about the speech that I wrote. Those who know it, it's a really great story. So the next question, let's have about what is there to see at the Expo. Let's have Julius take that one.
Okay, so we had an opportunity to cover the stuff that we'll have at the Expos, but this year, let's take a look at some of these stuff that we'll have. So we have Expo interactive exhibits and workshops. So there will be stuff hosted by the United States Army. They have their famous tent where you go and see what the inside of a mobile Army unit, a mobile Army medical unit is like. So you get to see exciting videos and an actual dummy. There's also the National Disaster Medical System, which is a federally coordinated system that augments the nation's medical response capability. So that's some really cutting-edge technology that we'll have at the conference for you guys to explore. On Thursday, something that really sticks out to me is the hands-on body system, Guts Are Us. So at this particular Expo workshop, participants will build the major organs of the gastrointestinal system out of brightly colored clay. This classroom activity is great to guide standards to learn the organs, their role in providing nutrition to the body, and their interrelationship with other body systems. Your guts go home with you, so HOSA members will take their organs with them after the presentation. So that's one thing that's really, really exciting. We have so much. We have, again, over 140 exciting workshops, expos, symposiums, exhibits for you guys to view and explore. We encourage you to get out and explore them once you get to the conference. And you can find all of this information on nlc.hosa.org, and you can click on the link to the educational workshops, the link to the symposiums, the link to the expos, and see the list of all the exhibits, symposiums, expos, and workshops that we'll have at the conference. So I definitely encourage you guys to go on the conference website and explore not only that, but all the things that we have showcasing the stuff that's going to be happening at the conference.
Okay, awesome. The next question that we had is actually what are each of our favorite parts of the conference. Some of us will answer, but the rest of us will just fill in. So personally, this will be my third national conference. Well, technically my first international conference. And my favorite part has been all the people that I've had the chance of meeting. HOSA members are, at least on average, some of the coolest people that I've ever met, and we all come from so many diverse walks of life that it's very enriching to hold a conversation from pretty much any HOSA member anywhere. And so that's why I really encourage that you take this chance now to get to meet as many people as you can, because there's going to be people from Mexico, from Canada, from Italy. We're going to have, people from Florida, from New Jersey. These are people that are outside of your state. If you're from California, you get to meet people from Ohio and Idaho and places like that, places that maybe you normally wouldn't visit. So every person you sort of get to meet has a story there. And if you approach it like that, you're going to have a great time socializing and getting to know your fellow HOSA members at the conference. Aditya, why don't you share your favorite part of the conference?
Sure. So this would be my fourth HOSA national conference, or first ever international conference. And one of my favorite memories was my first time going to Nashville. It was 3 years ago. And I never thought that we could have like close to 5,000 or 6,000 people. I forget how many people came to that conference, but they were all under one roof for one simple reason, that they all loved like healthcare and they wanted to join the healthcare profession. And being in that environment with like thousands of people just like yelling and having a great time, just excited for what's about to come, was just one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And even today, I still remember the emotions that I felt when I was there.
Okay, awesome. The next question we had was, will there be a time when we'll be able to meet the current national officers? And there isn't exactly like a set time in the agenda, but if you see any of us walking around, please say hello or come up to us. We're very excited to see everyone there, and we love talking to you. We may be in a rush due to just the way that how busy or hectic the schedule can be, but we want to talk to you, and we love meeting you guys. The next question, Santina, why don't you take that one?
Alrighty, so the next question is, will we be able to register on site to help with workshops? And the answer to that is yes. The workshop ambassador orientation will be on Wednesday at 3 p.m. and so make sure to check your program when you get it and you'll be set to go.
Okay, awesome. Julius, why don't you take the next one?
Okay, so we also want to add, in addition to the time that you guys will get to meet us throughout the conference, also ask us for our National Executive Council pins. We do have pins that we'll give away to anyone who comes to get them, and they are really beautiful pins, and we want to give them all away. So make sure when you see us, not only say hello, when we ask you how you're doing, tell us to give you a pin. So we'll definitely be excited to do that. Next question that we have is, will everyone get the 2016 ILC guide? Yes. Everyone who's registered for the conference, in addition to receiving your name tags, which you must wear at all times throughout the conference, and you cannot get into the sessions without your name tags, but everyone will also, yes, get in the 2016 ILC guide. The ILC guide has the actual schedule for the conference, so if there's anything that you're planning to do or see or explore throughout your time at this year's ILC, celebrating HOSA's 40th anniversary, make sure you consult with the ILC guide. In addition to the schedule that is inside of the guide, there's also a page which will have pictures of all of your national officer applicants. So if you're looking to see the faces of who could potentially lead HOSA next year, make sure you check out that page, get to know the people on that page via meeting them in person at the conference or either videos or just attending the business session or anything like that. Okay, so back to you, Amit.
Thank you, Julius. The next question is, will we be able to register on-site to help with the workshops? And the answer is yes. Workshop Ambassador Orientation is Wednesday at 3 p.m. Check your programs to make sure you can be a part of that. The year that I ran for national office, I was a workshop ambassador, and it's a really cool experience because you get to interact with the workshop panelists before or kind of outside of their presentation, which is pretty cool. I remember I met a pretty cool individual, and he worked for OSHA, and I got his contact information, and I emailed him soon after the conference, and it was cool because I only got to do that because I was a workshop ambassador. And also, we love workshop ambassadors. You guys are the heart and soul of the workshop aspects of ILC, and we would love to have you. The next question is, are there any good places to eat in Nashville? Santina, why don't you try that one?
So this is a question I have I have myself, and I've actually done a little bit of research, and I highly recommend that for you guys to go on Google and just Google cool places to eat in Nashville. And a couple places that I found is, now I've never tried these places, so don't hold me to these, but these places have really good reviews. Hattie B's Chicken, Etch is a place that I really want to try out. Sounds really cool. And Arnold's Country Kitchen. But I highly recommend that each one of you go ahead and go online and look up reviews on really cool restaurants in Nashville. I hear Nashville is a really cool place to eat in, and it's Music City, and so yeah, take advantage of it.
Okay, awesome. One question is, what will the national officers be doing on HOSA Day? Well, we're going to be working at the conference, making sure that everything is perfect and amazing for the HOSA members when you guys get back. We're very excited to do it, and we do get to explore Nashville when we first arrive, so don't worry about that, guys. And one question that we have that I think is a great one is, what advice do you have for first-time state officers? Julius, why don't you take that one?
Okay. I'll be honest with you. When it was my first time as a state officer, when I first attended my very first national conference, that was like 3 months after I was elected to state office. So I knew, and this is true, that you do have a tremendous responsibility in representing the delegation, that people who are competing or just at the International Leadership Conference from your state. But don't get caught up in the fact that you're this big-time representative of the state of Arkansas, for instance. Just make sure that you enjoy the conference, get to know other people, and for many of you will have gotten elected as state officers a few months before the conference. A few states may get elected at different times throughout the year, but the majority of first-time state officers will be freshly elected and inducted officers at the state level in HOSA. So use the conference as a launch pad to your year of outstanding service as a state officer. You should definitely look for inspiration in all the people that you meet, because believe me, you can always fall back on the tremendous and incredible energy that you'll get from the people you meet at the conference. I don't know if Aditya or Santina or Ahmed have any more advice they'd like to share.
Meet as many people as you can, because at this point, you're going there with many people who are in the same shoes as you. So make those friendships, make those bonds that will probably last a lifetime. I know I definitely made many of my closest friends at many different HOSA conferences, and it would be so different if I decided not to do that. So definitely go out of your way, step out of your comfort zone, meet people you wouldn't normally talk to, and just make the most of this experience, because when else when you have so many people in the same room?
Santina, do you have anything to add?
I think Julius and Aditya got it. Just make the most of this experience. That you have an incredible opportunity to be at the International Leadership Conference at the 40th anniversary, and so just take advantage of every single moment. I would say one thing I wish I did my first year that I went as a state officer was to take advantage of the workshops and that are available to us, because they're actually really cool. If you look through the interactive workshop guidelines and pamphlet, there's a lot of really cool workshops on there, and so I would say between now and whenever conference starts, just take a few minutes and take a look at that guide and see which ones really pop out to you, and make some time to go out and attend those with all the fun that you'll be having at International Leadership Conference as well. And also, just going off of what Aditya and Julius have already said, is just it's going to be scary talking to people and meeting people that you've never met before, but it's so rewarding whenever you do it. And so I would say, don't be afraid to be the first one to reach out and say, hey, how are you? Where are you from? What's your journey with how's your journey with HOSA been? I remember last year I met a girl from Connecticut, and we had a conversation for like an hour or two at a coffee shop, and it was just the coolest thing, because you get to meet people from all across the country, and it's just an incredible opportunity, and like they said, just make the most of everything, and know what's available, and what's out there, and what this conference offers beforehand, and just take advantage of it.
One thing I want to add to what everyone else said, and I'm pretty sure I said it too, but just to reiterate, make sure, you guys have first-time state officers, anyone who's at the conference, honestly, you guys have a tremendous opportunity that not many people get to actually have, to meet thousands of people from all over, any place that you can imagine. There's probably a person that'll be at this conference that you can meet and actually talk to and get to know. So don't get caught up in the formalities or the sessions in the conference. Get out and meet people. Believe me, you'll get pins in the process, and it's probably the most rewarding thing about our international conference.
Right. Absolutely. And something that a mentor of mine had told me when I first became elected as a state officer is that above all, what you remember is how you feel. And the best way, or the best feelings come from connecting with others and getting to know the people around you. So I know that we've been saying it a lot, talk to people, really get to know them, but this is the advice that we would give after everything in our HOSA experiences, is get to know the people around you. The people who got to meet me at state conferences, you never know who might be in your elevator. It's the same principle. And that's really what we want to stress is don't be afraid to reach out to people that you don't know, because if you decide not to talk to them, not to step out of your comfort zone, then you're exactly the same as you were before. So take the chances, make that daring move, and reach out to anyone that you feel like befriending. The next question, oh, actually there is one more thing that I'd like to add for first-time state officers, is that you also get to meet a lot of other first-time state officers, and because it's the international conference, there's going to be so many alumni here, so many accomplished state officers and former national officers. So take this chance to speak with them and talk to them about ideas and ways that you can help your state grow. If you're in Arizona and you have a neighboring state somewhere in your vicinity or an officer from a neighboring state, feel free to talk to them about interstate projects that you can get going or things like that. You know, it's as wild as your imagination can become. So take this chance and network with the people around you, and who knows what you might be able to do throughout the year. But that starts with reaching out to people and sort of just making the most out of what you have there. The next question, let's have Santina take that one. Where can we get a HOSA t-shirt?
All right, so items will be on sale at the HOSA Expo, where Awards Limited will be set up, and so we'll have all kinds of t-shirts in all different colors and a lot of other really cool HOSA stuff as well. And so you can buy t-shirts and all other HOSA merchandise in the HOSA Expo.
Okay, awesome. The next question is, are you guys competing this year? And we will not be competing this year. I think we'll just have our hands full with making sure that the conference is running as smoothly as possible, and it truly is an event worthy of being called HOSA's 40th anniversary. The next question I'll also take, just because that segue happened to work out, but it's how will the 40th anniversary be celebrated, and will it be different? Well, what I can tell you is that it's definitely going to be different, and it's definitely going to be something that you will remember for at least the rest of your lives. Because, you know, this event is celebrating 40 years. It's not celebrating the 39th, the 38th, or the 41st, or the 42nd. 40 is a very special number, and so this is going to be a very special event. I don't want to give away any spoilers, so you're just going to have to be there. The next question is, how is competition at ILC different from SLC? Didier, why don't you take that one?
So when you're competing at the state level, you're competing against different chapters, different people who go to the same state as you. So it might be a different atmosphere when you come to nationals or internationals. And suddenly you're up against people who are all across the nation and now the globe. So the competition is going to be a lot more intense. But that just means that it's going to be that much more fun getting prepared and getting ready for the competition. And it's a pretty awesome thing if you do get to place in the top 10 or even the top 3. I know meeting people during the competitions is probably one of the most beneficial things you could do while you're there. Because if they're taking the same competition as you, like, clearly they have a similar interest. And what better way to start a friendship or start a conversation than bridging off of a similar interest? There was also another question that we had earlier. Where are you sitting during opening and closing sessions? During the opening session, you'll be sitting with your states, so that will be assigned seating, but during closing, you are free to sit wherever you want. So during opening session, when we call your state's name, we expect a great cheer, show your enthusiasm, show your HOSA pride, and we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, awesome. So that wraps up the 2016 ILC preview. We couldn't be more excited to meet all of you in Nashville in actually 13 days. 13 days away, so 2 weeks until we get to see all of you there. Thank you to all the HOSA members and advisors who sat in on this preview and were here with us today. We're going to be excited to see you again. Thank you all, and we will see you in Nashville. And thank you to Aditya, Santina, and Julius for being here with me today. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.